NVC expedites spouse visa cases to Manila. I am Fred Wahl, the VisaCoach, and I personally work with you preparing for you the forms and documents needed to bring your loved ones home to the USA. And unlike those common second-rate services that abandon you once your application has been submitted, I remain with you providing support throughout this complicated immigration journey. Today's topic is the NVC expedites spouse visa cases to Manila. Now, the normal process for a spouse visa is that one's case is first submitted to USCIS, and that means United States Citizenship and Immigration Service. USCIS reviewers process a spouse visa case, and once satisfied, they forward it to the State Department's National Visa Center, NVC. Now, the U.S. sponsor then submits to NVC his or her financial documents and the spouse's civil documents and police clearances. NVC reviews these, and when satisfied that the applicant's documents are all complete, well, they advise the applicants they are documentarily qualified. Soon after that, NVC staff directly contacts the U.S. consulate in the spouse's country to schedule the interview. And once the appointments are confirmed, NVC transfers the cases to the foreign consulate, while at the same time, sending the couple an email advising them of the time and date for their consulate interview. This is how the process should work. But for spouse visas for Filipino beneficiaries, this system, this year has broken down. Earlier this year, I announced that USCIS had hired new staff, and due to the addition of new staff, they had been processing fiancé visa cases much more quickly than usual. During 2023, USCIS had taken about 15 months to process a fiancé visa case, whereas with the influx of new staff, many cases were approved by USCIS 5 times faster than previously, many in only 3 months. Now, that was good news for the applicants who had applied for fiancé visas. But that good news had unintended consequences. The speed at which USCIS pushed out cases that later ended up at consulates for their interviews, virtually a year earlier than was originally planned, have created a logjam. 3 times as many cases are now chasing the limited available interview appointment times. A consulate that was staffed to conduct, X number of cases a month, suddenly were faced with 3 times X as many applicants were all asking for their interviews. And until additional manpower could be recruited and transferred from the USA, the backlog of those waiting for interviews keeps piling up. This was especially felt at the U.S. Embassy in Manila. That's because this embassy is the busiest of all of the U.S. embassies in the world. Suddenly, with a much larger than usual influx of cases needing interviews, the consulate's appointment calendar has been overwhelmed. Applicants who normally had to wait only a few months to get an appointment date now were waiting half a year and longer to get a time slot. Now let's return to NVC. So the clerks at NVC, they're reaching out to the consulate in Manila asking for dates for interviews. And instead of being given the dates, they're put on hold. Hello? Next month, the clerks now, twice as many cases on hold, reach out to the embassy again to schedule the interviews, and again put on hold. Rinse and repeat. Finally, after about 6 to 9 months of cases that should have already departed NVC, still just piling up at NVC, awaiting their appointment times, finally NVC gave up trying to coordinate with the embassy and to book the appointments directly. And instead, they've given up and have decided, just to kick the problem over to Manila. They have cleared their piles of hundreds of backlog cases by just transferring him out to the embassy in the Philippines without waiting any longer to schedule the interview for the applicants. And once the cases have been shipped out, NVC emails each couple advising them of the good news. Your case has been expedited. Well, I view this as good and bad news. The bad news is the State Department's internal communications have failed. Routine coordination between NVC and the consulate has broken down. This is a professional management issue I hope they will find a way to resolve in the future. Now, the good news is that for each spouse visa applicant, well, now there's some activity on their case. Now, the client, though, is going to be battling with a scrum of other applicants who are all struggling to score a limited appointment time. But at least this is a different type of frustration for them. Instead of simply being left on hold, waiting themselves, helpless to do anything. But now, for most, hearing from NVC that one's case has been shipped to expedited case to Manila is good news. Though hearing from NVC that one has a confirmed appointment date, I think would have been better news. In the meantime, well, VisaCoach is working with our Filipino spouse visa clients to prepare for their interviews and to help them to bring their partners home to the USA. This was Fred Wahl, the VisaCoach, and I'm here to personally guide you on this journey. So please like or add your comments to this video. Click here to sign up for a monthly newsletter and receive bonus ebooks. Here to see YouTube's recommendations. Here for the playlist of recent videos on spouse visas. And here to subscribe to our channel.